Okay, well, we'll call the meeting to order. We're a couple minutes late here, but that's not a big deal. Who's foul?
Marvin wants to sign
I was working, Marvin. I wasn't just
John, you always got
been
a
trying to figure out what we've got going and what's getting done and stuff like that there. So we'll call the meeting to order and we need roll call, and I'm here and Becky can go on. Yeah,
John Nicholson,
here.
Dave Valley,
Here.
Bill Palin,
Here.
Marvin Williams,
Present.
Tom
Here.
Wilson. Sorry, I changed your name.
Okay, everybody's here. Has everybody had a chance to, hi, Pete. Everybody had a chance to, everybody had a chance to look at minutes from last month? Any corrections or additions to them? So stand approved as read then. Visitors. This. Oh, I think. That happened. Do we have any visitors? Anybody here that wants to speak other than the appropriate time? Okay. Let's just run through the claims fast. We got animal control here. Okay. Here you go, Bill. Only one there, I suppose. Yep, that's it.
Okay, for first claim for Lee County Animal Control, claim for US Bank with receipts for a total of $2,099.80.
And the total is $2,099.80.
And the next claim, and I'm just going to read it because there's one here. It's for pet population, and it goes to the Amboy vet for pet population vouchers, and it's $330. And that's the only claim.
You're not gonna let anybody else see that? I think division of stuff, somebody else has.
What's this? No, I'm gonna.
Oh, there, okay, Bill.
That right? You good? No, I'm not gonna read them. I don't believe in that at all.
No, I
That's,
know.
these are the general fund claims for animal control.
Okay, this is animal control, for the general fund, you said, huh?
Yes.
Okay, the first one, a US Bank with receipts for $344.83. I'll let you guys sign these a little faster. Next for FedEx. Try to keep them in good order, but
No problem.
you gotta,
Marvin, I'll keep them in good order.
just fill in the amount and initial. So
What's
the next for
Am I supposed to
FedEx,
sign it or something?
Wait, hang on a second. How do you want to do that over there, guys?
I don't care. You can do it.
Tom, do you want to,
You got it.
basically what it amounts to is you kind of look
It
at
don't
the
matter to
claim,
me.
he reads it
So
off.
it's 344.83,
Yep.
correct?
And you
You
write
do
the number
something,
and
I'll
then
do
put your
something,
initial
that's all.
behind it. Write your initial there, somebody, where you fill it in.
all the
Okay.
process of going through.
Okay.
Yeah. The next is for FedEx for $165.26. Next claim is for Johnson Oil for $113.83. Hardest part is keeping the picture. Next is Wind City Energy for $133.02. Next, we have one for Verizon for $98.78. Or share. Next for City of Dixon for $37.70. Huh?
for water.
for water, right? The next for Republic Services for $43.02. The Cali Deacon, the next claim for $60. For Direct Energy for $132.44. For Amboy Veterinarian Hospital for $113.50. For St. Francis Group, $100. For Brandy Barkowski for hours for $149.99.
Total, $1,492.37.
Repeat that one more time.
1492.37.
One thing I do like is having the department head give their report as they give their claims. I think if people want to stick around and listen to everything, that's fine. But Terry, if you would like to give your report now, rather than wait for the rest of the claims to be handled.
I totally agree. These are our employees and why should they have to sit around for everybody, you know?
That's exactly right. If they
So,
want to set, fine. They don't have any responsibilities afterwards, but if you got something going on, get back to work. You know?
Yeah, the only thing that I have is, we did have a positive bat last month. That's unusual, so that's why I'm putting it out there. The people were notified by the health department and what to do, so. And then just a little update on the kennel, not much. The outside kennel panels, most of them have come in. Greg's gonna pick those up sometime in the near future, and then we'll wait for the rest of them to come in and then they can be put up. Other than that, there's nothing else. The outside perimeter fence is done for sure. And it all looks nice.
Very nice.
And I want to thank everyone for their input and help on getting this done because it looks really nice. And I appreciate it very much for our department.
Questions for Terry? Okay. We got maintenance claims next.
what do you think?
You can.
Take a second.
Always have to get back to work.
I just want
Answer.
to stay somewhere.
You're taking a long lunch.
Let's do the maintenance stuff first.
Oh, boy. We've got that sheet.
We're ready to fly.
Okay, first claim. There we go. First claim for Nicor Gas for the new jail, is it? For $728.31. For Aramark for supplies for $215.57. For Cerrone Piping for $2,508.75. For Johnstone Supply, 4 bills for a total of $1,224. Alarm Detection Systems,
$1,224.
okay. Sorry. The next, Alarm Detection Services for $523.94. Prairie State Prairie State Tractor for $143.43. For Aramark for $86.06. For Helm Service for $343.50. For Nicor for $1,028.78. For Menards for $36.97. Another one for Aramark for $259.69. Bradford Supply, $231.97. For Direct Energy, looks like these are all bills combined for $18,612.94. For Home Depot Pro for $24.78. For Windy City Energy, 3 bills for $1,789.13. For Alarm Detection Systems for $302. For Schmidt Plumbing and Heating for $152.55. For Sherwin-Williams for $182.59. For Dixon Water for the new courthouse, old jail, 4th Street property, old courthouse, maintenance building, new jail for $1,353.40. Johnstone Supply for $415.20. Nicor Gas, $53.61. For Kitzman's for $360.69. Ace Hardware for $227.83. For Alpha Controls for $465. For US Bank with receipts for $688.04. For Industrial Appraisal Company for $4,920.
That's a 60% payment for appraisal out of,
Or Tom, this is something we have to do technically every 5. Is get update, okay.
So I got one question on, I'm sorry, go ahead, Bill.
$36,854.97.
The last meeting that we had, I didn't keep track of the expense, but we had like 8,000 some odd dollars in Home Depot Pro. And to my recollection, I mean, keeping stuff local is extremely important as far as county funds go. And got the lumberyard in Amboy, RP Lumber, Dixon or Kitzman's, Ace Hardware, all the hardware stores in our county that are paying taxes. I want to make sure that we're making a real conscientious effort. I understand Home Depot Pro delivers and does whatever, but there should be, I just want to make sure that we're not setting a precedence just to turn the phone on and call Home Depot Pro for everything, because the lumberyards and the stuff here needs to be patronized as in county. $1 of county money that's put back in the county is 100 times expense. So why should we send our county money to Winnebago County or Carroll County or wherever there's a Home Depot? I mean, I don't know, in Rockford probably. But I just want to make sure there's a conscientious effort with the Home Depot Pro, that we're trying to keep the stuff as local as possible and patronize everybody in the county as much as possible. And at least give them a chance. I know it takes a little bit of extra effort to see about pricing and what have you, but the money spent in the county is going to come back to all of us as opposed to being thrown out the door. And that's, I just remember last meeting, I think we approved like $8,000 of money, and
You have
that's,
to understand though, Home Depot Pro does like 98% of our PPE stuff because all their machines are in every one of our bathrooms. So we buy their type of rolled
understand
paper,
that.
all their disinfectants, all the cleaning supplies and everything come for that. Plus they give us like 20% discount.
Right.
If we were running all over everywhere trying to get all these supplies, you're going to spend more than that paying somebody to go get it. And you're still not going to get the 20% discount. I understand keeping it local is good, but there's some places where, like this year with our PPE stuff, I mean, they're a big company and they were out of stock. There's a lot of things that we can't do. A lot of the paint and stuff we do buy locally, like for Sherwin-Williams and things like that, we try to buy everything as local as we can. But when we're ordering, we just got a great big huge skid load of paper towels and toilet paper and things like that. You know, a lot of your local places, I mean,
Right. And I
unless you got
understand
a semi, you're gonna go load it up and put it on a skid, you know, it makes it very difficult. I understand where you're coming from, but there's some cases that's almost impossible.
And I understand that, and I
With
appreciate that.
everything.
I guess to the point, what are we buying from Home Depot Pro? I didn't look at
We
that.
buy all of our disinfectants for everything we clean the bathrooms with, toilet,
Yeah.
the toilet cleaners, and they're all special grade stuff that they sell. Cause it's like they have a janitorial service right there in their Home Depot, and like any floor cleaning products, they come and tell us, hey, this is what you need to use on it to do the proper thing. So, you know, they do all that free gratis. We bought our last floor scrubber from them, and they come, they set it all up. They train the workers on how to use it and everything, what product to use in it. You can use other products on it, but they send the expertise. They'll send a guy and say, hey, this is the kind you want to use. You can buy it from somebody else if you want, but we'd like to deal with them because if something breaks on it, they take care of it for us.
Greg's predecessor, Chris Hinkle, who was the maintenance supervisor forever in this town, he used another company other than Home Depot Pro. But they say Greg Hinkle, or Chris Hinkle, was Greg's predecessor for 20 some odd years. And he basically bought all his cleaning supplies from another company also.
Like Cintas or something.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of it, but this Home Depot Pro is just another company that does the same thing, just a different company. And so we do strive to buy in the county whenever we can and under the same thing. In fact, there was an ordinance, we had a small ordinance written up a number of years ago where we would actually give a advantage to somebody in the county. We'd give them a little discount or a bidding discount. Found out that was not right. Couldn't do that. Is that right, Charlie? We couldn't give an advantage to somebody in the county who was just because they were in the county.
We have to follow the purchasing ordinance, but
Yeah.
that's primarily it.
Yeah. But I would stress with Greg to try to keep things within the county to purchase. And basically, this is all cleaning supplies.
Yes, it is.
People know is doing. So is there somebody in the county that you know of that could give us at least a bid on the same thing?
No, I'm just,
Okay.
I'm 100% about keeping the money.
Well, I'm a strong advocate of that.
Absolutely.
I
I'm a slam dunk, but
Yep.
that's the way I look at.
I only
things.
go out of the county when I have to too.
Sure. But I understand, yes.
So, well, okay, good. Go on to zoning claims here. Excuse me. Greg, would you like to give your report?
Sure. We're just starting the restoration on the outside of the old courthouse today. Had a meeting with them at 7 before they started and made sure everybody was on the right page and everything. I think they're gonna start pressure washing everything on 2 sides of the building. Then they're going to start putting or grinding and doing all, and retuck pointing and stuff. And then they'll finish the two sides and then they'll switch to the other two sides of the building to complete the project. So of course, it's going to be in September before it's done. So it's going to be long drawn out process, and hopefully everybody will have a little patience with them because there's going to be some noise and some dust and probably some parking issues, but they don't have a big crew. Today they only had 3 guys. So I don't think there's going to be a lot of workers out there at one time. They're going to have a 60-foot lift and a 40-foot lift. So they're going to run all of them on plywood. I made sure they laid down plywood to run their tracks on. They asked me if it was okay if they left them sitting on the plywood in the yard overnight, and I told them, yes, that's fine. So I think things are going to work smoothly. We're going to working together on it. So hopefully we won't have any snags in the process. Still having troubles with the control system over at the new courthouse. I have to meet with them today. They have some graphics to put on the new controls that we haven't got on there yet. And we have some VAV units that are giving us some troubles, which we didn't know till we got the new control system put in, that we can visually check them now and see what's operating and what isn't. So we are waiting for Cerrone to come in and start fixing them. And we have like 8 to 10 of them that aren't working. They're locked open at 100%, which means when it gets too cold in the room, they don't shut down. So there's they went out, they started fixing some of them, and there's a rubber plug up there on a T that you're supposed to put a test plug in for the suction on the static pressure of the ductwork. Well, those little rubber test plugs had cracks in them and they were losing air, so it wasn't letting the system modulate. So there's only 75 of those up there. So we're going through and changing every one of them, probably 20-cent rubber caps, and resetting the VAVs. So we're trying to make the system more economical, but also we've had a lot of troubles with rooms overheating, and we never knew what was going on because since I've been here, we couldn't visually check it to see what those units are doing. Now we have a system we can visually see what those VAV boxes are doing, and we know we have trouble. So we're in the process of getting them fixed and get things up and going. We just got done remodeling the administrator's office. We still have a door to put on yet, and that job should be complete. That's about all I have.
Questions on anything for Greg?
Yes, sir.
When are you gonna be through with the administrative office?
Microphone, Marvel.
Oh, excuse me. When are you gonna be through with the administrative office?
I hope next week we'll get the door and get it installed for Wendy, and then we should be all done by next week.
All painted?
I was just going to
Okay.
add my 2 cents worth. I really appreciate the cooperation and collaboration from Greg and his team, and from John on properties. We talked about what we needed to do. Best thing in there right now is new LED lights. It's much brighter in there, and I really appreciate all the effort. Ryan has kind of taken the lead on that, being the maintenance staff person that's typically in this building, and he does a phenomenal job. So thanks to Greg and his team for all of that.
Got some fans, got a fan running back there, getting the paint all perfectly dry, and looks really nice back there, getting the floor. We shampooed, the carpet was shampooed, and looks great. Yeah, so.
Question, have we got anywhere on the card readers for the courthouse here? Have you heard any more?
I haven't heard. I've got to touch bases with the sheriff, but with the holiday and stuff, I hadn't had time to touch bases. He was handling that. I have to see because we're going to have to check on the alarm system also. Now that we're going to do the swipe cards, we're not going to really need the alarms in each room like we have. So we're still going to need the panic buttons. So I'm going to have to get a hold of, I don't know who the sheriff's talked to yet. So I have to get a hold of him, and then the electronic system when it does our alarm system here. So I'm going to have to get a hold of them, and also once we get something figured out, which direction we want to go. And because we're probably going to have an alarm system wired to the front door. So when somebody does break in, then without a card, that's gonna sound the alarm, so it'll have to be tied in, I would think, with the city police department like it is right now, so we have to work out those things yet and get a price on that.
Go ahead, Tom.
Are we gonna, is that gonna have, is the security system gonna have a battery backup for a 10-hour period, or what are we doing with the battery?
I'll have to check with the sheriff because I'm not sure. I know the system we have now does have a battery backup.
What's
but,
the length of time in the battery backup?
I'm guessing, but I'm thinking it's like 12 hours.
Okay.
We usually go along every year and change those batteries out. They'll show a signal on them that they're bad, but we like to update them every year and put brand new batteries in. And we get those batteries right from Ace. So
As Greg said, sheriff's handling this stuff. And the reason being is that although this is an administrative building, the sheriff still has control over the security of the building, which puts him in charge of the card readers and the alarm system and so on. He's doing that. One of them, we actually approved the bid, 18,000 and change to install, but we're going to try to run that through some of the COVID-19 money and see if we can get that to apply so we can save in our general fund. So that's where that stands at right now. You got any questions for Greg? Okay, then we'll go on to the zoning claims.
Okay, we're on ready for zoning. First claim, Sauk Valley Media for $701.90. Claim for SBM for $162.07. US Bank for certified mailings with receipts enclosed, lots of them, for $539.
We have a total of $1,402.97.
Receipt that wants to jump out there, grab right in my hand, so we got it.
D, you want to give your report?
No discussion on my claims? Okay.
Oh, do you have any you want to tell us about?
Oh.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you got away with it, D. Whatever it was, you got away with it.
The public notice in the paper were for the 10 petitions we heard last Thursday night.
They hear you.
So were the certified mailings that went out to all the adjacent property owners of the map amendment petitions that the zoning board members heard last Thursday night. All but 2 of those map amendment petitions were voted for recommendation to the county board. 2 petitions, petition 21, 15, 73, and 74, were tabled for 60 days after discussion was had with the present owner that is claiming that the map amendments on the 2 parcels would be an extreme hardship on him, and he is opposed to the change. There were no objections on the 8 map amendments that will come before the county board next week. Next Monday, the Lee County Planning Commission will have a public hearing for the proposed text amendments to the wind energy ordinance. The current wind energy ordinance 10-15-15 was adopted in the early 2000s. Technology and standards in the wind energy industry have changed a great deal in 20 years, so it's imperative to have an ordinance that reflects what the county is requiring of the wind farm applicants. The Planning Commission will be meeting here at 6:30 on July 12th. A draft of the proposed wind energy text amendments is posted on the Lee County website. Algonquin's Shady Oaks Wind 2 has begun construction on 22 wind turbines in Wyoming Township near Pawpaw. The laydown area yard has been established, the access roads are complete, and the foundations are now just being excavated. It's kind of interesting if you want to head out that way. Update on Lee County's first utility solar project, Junction Solar, who petitioned the county in 2019 for a 758-acre solar farm, is intending on obtaining building permits by the end of this year and possibly be putting access roads, getting fencing done, and most likely much of the racking underway by spring of 2022. And that's it, unless you have questions for me.
D, are all these petitions to the zoning board, they're from the zoning board, they're all map amendments that we talked about
Correct.
last month, okay. And then under K, the ordinance amending the regulating development of wind energy conversion systems.
I talked about is coming to the planning commission next week.
On G and H, the 1573 and 1574, what was the issue that it didn't just go through automatically?
No, the new owners were there at the meeting and they were objecting to us changing the map amendment on that.
Map amendment, my understanding is just automatically goes back because zoning did failed after 2 years or so.
Correct. There was just a couple questions that were involved, so they decided to table it for 60 days. And we'll look at it again in 2 months.
There is some kind of an issue, okay.
Any questions for D? Okay. Got just a couple insurance claim or insurance claims. Let's just read this one. It's got a multiple.
Just one thing, okay.
Just one thing that you want, there's probably 4 claims there.
Yeah, notary bonds for, we got 4 of them, for a total amount of $336.80. Look. Sorry.
Then we got lots claims.
Do the honor reading.
From Morningstar Media Group for $29,338.38.
Yes, sometimes it ain't the same.
Sit down.
Got Morningstar Media Group here on.
Is it
Two amounts, one $8,300, one $4,000.
There's another one on there for $16,880.
You have
Top 2 are going to be the ones for the Greyhound routes. And then I'm assuming the 29,000 is for the regular lots, which is probably on page 2 of that documentation.
Okay, so you got the I-39, and the I-88 accounts are Greyhound,
Yep, the very top.
and those were for $8,300 and $4,150.
Right.
Would make it $12,450 total.
Right.
Okay. And then a lots, Morningstar Media Group for $16,888.38.
Yeah,
Okay,
there's no order to it there.
well, right. So those are the 2 totals, and we'll, yeah, right, then we have a total for both of them for the media group, which would be the allowed total for both Greyhound and lots. You won't have that on your
Yeah.
bill, but it'd be 29,000, because we just read both of your.
Okay,
You good to go?
yep, I see it now. Yep.
Okay. Vendor names, first, a yard, 335.30. Ace Hardware for $16.82. Alarm Detection Systems, $872.28. Car Oil, Russ Automotive, Culligan for $30.36.
$30.86.
36.
I have $30.86.
Well, what do you got there?
It's 36 on this form. It's 86. You've initialed it on that back form.
Should be 3086.
86.
86 is correct?
Yeah, 86.
Okay.
How do you scratch that off and put 86?
Well, I'm gonna allow that, yes.
You went through all your bills and didn't have a problem. I've got two in the last 10. What's the problem there?
Yeah.
That's why I handed it to you.
Yeah, right.
Every
You
time.
gotta learn by the fire.
Talking big money here.
Yeah. DC computers for $89. Direct Energy, $704.85. Effective, $1,675.91. Foxter Solutions, $1,350. Hughes Services, $56,157.26.
It's their payroll.
Leaf, 211.14 Lee County Treasurer, $920.
We supply them with maintenance down there. That's what that's
Maintenance.
for, reimbursement.
Yeah, it's maintenance.
Lee County Treasurer, $374.
That's bookkeeping.
Napa, $677.14. Pest Control, $55. Penny Printing, $172.35. Rayner, $433.13. Republic Services, $110.25. RC Services, Betts Automotive, or Betts Auto, $38. Sauk Valley Media, $1,075. Sterling Business Machine, $94.06. US Bank, 3 receipts for a total of $3,240.25.
Wait, did you get the? I happened to I see 2 of them laying here.
Those are individual. I've got one for Toyota.
Okay, I just, you
See,
laid 2
three
of them
problems. There
here.
you
You
go.
skipped that one, you put that one to it, this one, they get stuck together.
I just want to make sure you're paying attention.
Uh-huh.
One, you got one.
So
for
Toyota Financial Services for $367.17.
I looked up and see
Right.
Bill's eyes go, huh?
Huh? Then I've got US Bank, 3 receipts for a total of $3,240.25. Vistaprint for a total of $140.17.
Where are we now?
I don't know.
Part of the detail, Bill.
The
in US
detailed
Bank
bill.
report.
Pardon me?
It's part of the detail in the US Bank.
Oh, this is all the receipts for the US Bank total?
Oh, okay.
Or you want a paper clip for them?
How far down?
Get them clipped together.
Those 3 items total $3,240.25.
Yep,
Looks like right to there. Just put them together somehow.
Is Verizon Wireless your next one, Bill?
Yep.
Okay. Verizon Wireless for a total of $1,212.05. WEX for a total of $15,501.02.
20.
Okay, well, this is
You got
02.
02?
Yeah,
I've
let me
got
check,
20.
let me check. It's 02 on the receipt.
Well, 18 cents is 18 cents.
You're killing me, Bill. So,
What cost 18? Just change it on
well,
whichever one
this
you
is,
write.
this is correct. This is
That's
what the
correct.
bill says.
Go ahead and just kind of
That's, oh,
write it
it's
off to the
02.
side. They'll have to be
initial is
total.
off, yeah.
150, no, 15501 20, no.
02.
02.
Yeah, 02.
We'll have to subtract the 18 cents from the total at the end.
Too much for me.
Wind City Energy, 104.74. Windsor, 114.10. WRHL, WYOT Radio, $285. WIXN, WRCV, WSEY Radio, 1,205. And that's it.
We got lots claims, $104,581.82. Lots Greyhound, $12,450. And the total claims, when I have to take off of this, 18 cents.
18 cents.
It's $117,031 and what's 82 minus 18?
64.
Okay. I'll take your word for it.
Give me that total again, will you?
Okay. $117,031.54.
2464.
117,031.54.
No, 6.4.
64,
82 minus 18 would be
Yeah.
64.
right. That's what I thought. So it's 64, Bill. That's why I questioned.
Change my 5 to a 6.
There we go. We got this straight.
Jeez. Don't spend so much money next time, Greg.
Okay, Greg, go on. You're on.
The report should be in front of you. I'm just gonna hit some highlights. Probably at the very top under operational developments, we are gonna do a presentation to the Oregon Rotary Club tomorrow. And then we'll also be hitting the Rochelle Rotary Club, just with the, at least with the Oregon Rotary Club, with the expansion into Ogle County with a supplemental location. They have some interest in learning more about that. We'll also talk about increased ridership that we want to do in Ogle County as well. We have some amendments that we're going to make to the CARES contract that we currently have with IDOT. And I would just, for your information, direct your eyes down to the B section of highlights, as IDOT has found an additional $744,608 to give to us for the local system for CARES funding. And then for Greyhound, they found another $5,300,000 to disperse for operational losses for Greyhound that we will facilitate on their behalf. Besides that, we've made some amendments to our marketing agreement with Morningstar that took effect on July 1st. As part of that marketing campaign, you'll see some different bus colors on at least 3 of our vehicles, more of a blue and an orange, just to grab people's attention. We had it actually in the Petunia Festival Parade on Sunday, and it was grabbing some people's attention. That's the whole emphasis as it goes around Lee and Ogle counties. And besides that, the last page of your report should show an orange graph, which again is showing the ridership as it continues to climb right now. As of last week, we provided 864 rides versus 471 rides 1 year ago. My math was off on that first. It should be a 183%, not a 208% increase from 1 year ago. So we're continuing to get riders back, and hopefully we'll get back to around 16 to 1,700 rides that we provide on a weekly basis. Total for FY 2021, which would be July 1st through June 30, was 37,872. Just to give you something to compare to, last year that was 60,750, and the year prior to that we had 104,000. So yes, the pandemic has impacted the public transit system locally, but slowly but surely we're climbing that mountain, getting more riders back in. So unless there's more questions, that's my report.
Just for Greg. Marvin,
Are you,
microphone, Marvin.
is, IDOT or the
Mike.
federal government,
Mark.
Oh, excuse me.
There you go.
are you building a new building over in Ogle County?
We have not started, Marvin. We probably won't start for a while.
Now, would that be under, I know it'd be under you, but would the county, Lee County be a part of that too?
Lee
Or not?
County is the grantee. Ogle County is not. So Lee County has to be the recipient of those funds for that construction project. And the first step in that process is to go out for requests for qualifications for an architect and engineer. And that probably won't happen for a month or two, merely because of the paperwork. Then we'll go out for bids. And once we have a final design, which will probably mimic the current location's design somewhat, once we have that, we'll go out for bids for a general contractor. So I'm thinking probably 15 to 18 months at least before we have something of a final construction product up there.
But it sounds like this, for a year and a half to 2 years down the road, if everything goes right.
With all the paperwork associated with the state of Illinois and IDOT, it's never a quick process.
Mhm. Thank you.
Greg, What's the status on the mass transit district now that we've approved it? Ogle County did do, I assume.
Well, the
Or
next step
Committee.
is to convene that advisory council once again and start pecking away at some of those key deliverables that we're going to have to focus on. And I think we've already discussed this probably in this meeting and others. Since Lee County has representation through Charlie and Brian from the state's attorney's office, there is going to be a point moving forward where we'll have to have our own legal representation on behalf of the developing district. That's not going to happen right away, but we have to basically figure out what that district's going to look like. Bigger picture, there will actually have to be legislation put forth in Springfield. And I believe IDOT has to do this, but I was seeking clarification from some of my colleagues at IDOT. I think IDOT actually has to put forward that legislation that says it goes from Lee County being the grantee to this new Reagan Mass Transit District being the grantee and recipient of those funds. So there's the devil's always in the details, and that's clearly the case in developing a mass transit district. Overall, it's not going to look that much different. It's just going to structurally no longer be under Lee County. It'll be under a mass transit district. So there's quite a bit of work still yet to be done. Originally, we had talked about having something ready to go by July 1st of 2022. I'd probably wager right now that that's a 60% chance of actually occurring. We might actually have to push it off to the next fiscal year of July 1 of 2023. Just depends on how fast the process moves of organizing the mass transit district.
Questions? We just need a motion to pay the claims.
So be,
Got Marvin, Bill, second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Kindly sign that sheet as I pass it around. I'm gonna make a little comment right now on the payment of claims and the process in paying claims. There is movement afoot to change the process on paying claims. Okay, I'm somewhat in favor of that. Right now, the way it was done in Ed Services this morning, any claim under $2,500 was gone through by who will ever be our administrator. And there's a separate sheet such as the paid and vacation claim sheet that goes around through executive committee. Those are claims that come in too late to be paid through committee, or there are some claims that are paid just because of their nature, their garnishments or something, and then things that shouldn't really be out in public scrutiny. I don't have a problem with paying claims by that method if they are already budgeted claims such as utility bills, things that are consistent from month to month. In properties, things are a little different because we don't always know how much something's going to be until we get totally into it. And we're working with a substantially larger line item than we would be if it was just a utility bill. I'm not against having that $2,500 ceiling on budgeted claims. My philosophy has always been, I've been on this board a long time, probably too long, guys, but I've always been a traditionalist. And I believe that the more eyes that see claims, the better. We're handling the money of the taxpayers. And I think we should scrutinize the claims. My feeling. I'm not against change if it works well. I'm not for changing this for the sake of changing. Another thing that kind of bothers me is we are shuffling the duty of reviewing these claims away from a committee paid, each one of us is paid a per diem, $60 plus your mileage, whatever that amounts to. We're shuffling that responsibility to the highest paid county employee. And to me, that's a misuse of public funds too. To pay somebody who's making substantially more than we are on a per diem basis to save a half an hour. It took us about a half an hour, well, about 45 minutes to pay these claims, to review them. Some of them we'd have to review anyway, but They saved about 10 minutes this morning, 15 minutes in ad services. And as I say, the administrator would be the one approving some of the claims. This whole system is yet to be ironed out. Those are my thoughts. So, Marvin?
I was just wondering you said the highest paid employee at,
The administrator will be reviewing the claims, and if they're under $2,500, she will approve them, and then she'll put them on a sheet, such as the paid and vacation claims, come around through executive. So you're having the highest paid person in the county reviewing claims that would normally be handled by people making a $60 per diem. To me, that's not a good way to shuffle our county money around.
now who are the people that gonna be doing, approving the claims? Then?
The administrator
Yeah,
would be
she's gonna,
approving them
the
claims,
administrator's gonna.
putting
be
them on a sheet, and then that sheet is passed around. And I watched how it was done in ad services this morning, and I'm not saying everybody didn't look at those claims individually, but I did notice that one person just looked at the list and then handed it on. And I guess, like I say, I'm a transparency person. That's my argument for it. That, and I've been doing this paid and vacation in executive for years. And that sheet is usually just passed on. We don't review them, and I'm part of the problem, not part of the solution. So my 2 cents, guys. And we'll be talking about this again in multiple committees and on full county board.
And looking for the administrator, was that in the job description as far as what the administrator is supposed to be doing?
Well, I don't know what's in the job description. Cindy or Wendy, you wrote the job.
It wasn't in there in that kind of detail, but, essentially there's always the, and other duties as assigned by the board. So the process that took place this morning, and it was really kind of a test, was that I did review all the claims. They arbitrarily picked a number of $2,500. We don't know that would be the threshold that would stay. It was just more or less a test. So I just reviewed all the claims that got submitted through administration this morning. I did that actually last Friday, initialed everything that I had reviewed that was less than $2,500. And then I draw attention to anything that is greater than $2,500 or that might be unusual. So there were several unusual items going through this morning, and then the committee could then focus on those particular items. So again, very much a test that went through this morning, just to see how this would work. I know one of my thoughts I brought out this morning was that you all deal with a lot of different forms coming from all the different departments. It seems like everybody's got their own cover sheet and their own claim form. And if nothing else, I'd like to kind of streamline that a little bit so that the format looks the same, no matter whether it's coming from the assessment office or, or Greg's department here. So that's something we're kind of talking about. So right now, John's right. It's kind of been a testing to see, how it works and what works, if anything. And then there was supposed to be more conversation and collaboration on how we would move forward with that.
Hey, John, just a couple of questions. I'm not opposed to actually streamlining this process because as we probably took 15 minutes just to go through my claims. But have we actually reached out to Lauterbach as our new auditing firm to get some type of position on them feeling comfortable with that $2,500 threshold, which I think would probably alleviate some headaches down the road? And then 2, as referenced, I think, by Chris Norberg previously, was the plan or is the plan still to have claims completed by Friday afternoon for review by the administrator prior to the committee week? Is that still the plan of?
That's kind of what's been talked about, but to be honest, that was even problematic for those individuals that had to come before the committee this morning, because speaking from my own department in the assessment world, we didn't get one of the largest claims we put through. We didn't get until late afternoon on Friday. So I think that's obviously still something that needs to be tested. It might be such that it could be, if the rest of this process is worked out, that it be 24 hours in advance of your committee meeting maybe would be helpful. The point being just trying to give the administrator time to review those. But having everything in by Friday is going to be tough for people whose claims aren't coming in. So I can see that being a challenge. We've got some other challenges like the ROE that reports to this morning's committee. They're over in Sterling. So getting them to this building, you know, in paper form is going to be a little problematic. So I definitely think we've got some further conversations to have on what will work or not work.
There's a lot of things in flux right now. And I'm saying, I'm not totally against this. I'm just throwing out my ideas.
You know, and I go along with your idea there, you know, that it's good to have it reviewed. There was questions asked all the time, and it was a learning experience to me. You know, with Greg's report, the lots report, that is the major one of us. The rest of them, it would only take how many minutes to go through. So it gives us time to kind of review and see Bill. But long-term lots may be out of our hands.
True.
So that's not going to really be an issue. The rest of it with lots was half an hour. If it's only 15 minutes, I can't see the great, the administrator needs to have some idea and stuff too, because obviously their name's going to be on it. But yeah, and I kind of wonder, like Greg said, what do the people that oversee these things want to have us do?
Yeah.
It's a process of, it has to go through so many names and so.
And
many
John,
things
with respect to what we're expecting the new administrator to do, it needs to be ironclad and for her use as well. I mean, we don't want her to be put in a situation where she's at risk, and she certainly would not want to put herself at risk on that new position. So if it's written down and we have set precedents of what we're doing, I don't see an issue with it. I understand the transparency, absolutely 100%, just to go through bills and what have you. But I'm sure Wendy would love to have something ironclad where we're not just feeling our way through it. So we understand that this is what your responsibility is. This is what your expectations are. And this is, I mean, we have to have that.
Yeah.
We have to do our due diligence before we put her in a, we want to make sure we're protecting her and protecting the constituents of Lee County.
And by the way, I mean, I'm sure everybody knows by now through the grapevine that Wendy is going to be our new administrator. That Wendy's going to be our new administrator.
You're kidding me,
Through the
right?
grapevine. No, everybody knows it, but I wasn't going to say anything because it isn't official quite yet. I mean, she
I
was the
thought,
pick
when is it gonna be official then?
next Monday, from what I understand.
Yes, next Monday.
Can't say anything the next.
We
month.
can't tell you, Marvin. It's going to be next Monday.
You don't know anything, Marvin.
I know. Can't know everything, Marvin.
I know I don't know anything.
But we approve her
I
as
don't
the
know my name
executive.
sometimes.
and-
I understand, but in the approval of it, we should have stuff in writing to make sure we're protecting her and protecting ourselves and protecting the county.
I think there's a couple other minor tweaks in that job description. that we
Yeah,
gotta
that-
work
And
out.
I think that, part of this testing, because let's face it, I'm not even officially the administrator at this point yet. I reviewed those claims. So this was all just, and by the way, so did the administration committee this morning, but this is all part of the testing, because by testing it like this, we're figuring out what all the hurdles are. I personally like Greg's idea. We do have a new auditor on board now, just as of last month. I think that's a great plan to reach out to them and make sure see what their expectation is specific to this, or the recommendation is specific to this. I think that's part of the due diligence and the testing of this that we need to continue forward with. And Tom, to respond to you, you're absolutely right. I think the expectation always was, though, that once we test it with administration, which was kind of driving this idea, that we do put some of those things in writing and manage those expectations. I would also throw out to you that, Dave Bally is right. Going through the claims is kind of a good learning curve for all of you to understand what your departments that are reporting to you do. That kind of helps you know what questions to ask. So I would say to you that as a committee, as a collective group, if you really wanted to read those claims, each and every one of them, I don't know that that's going to be a huge hurdle. That's going to be up to this committee. Chris's idea on administration was he wanted to focus more on some of the, what's going on in our departments, what policy decisions need to be further vetted or discussed. He wanted to focus on that. But again, if this committee said, I really want to look at every one of Greg's claims because we just want to look at them, there's nothing stopping you from doing that. This is just a way to streamline it if you should want to allocate your time towards something else.
And the primary reason behind this in a lot of ways is shorten up the meetings. I personally, what's that? Oh, I say, the main reason for this is to shorten up. Am I not coming through? Because everything's on. Yeah, but.
There you
And I
go.
like to see, I'm kind of I like to think I would like to run short meetings, as short as possible. But I don't know if doing it quick rather than right is what we want to do. That's my opinion. I like doing things right rather than fast.
Yeah, and I'm glad to see an administrator. I'm all for an administrator, but I think our administrator needs to look forward. We need to look at a budget 10 years from now to figure out. And that's stuff that we can't do here at this table. We can go through the bills as they go and, you know, like the properties, safeties, security stuff needs to be addressed, or building and stuff, and each, you know, agenda or each committee has the same thing. I'm glad to see people on this from the knowledge of the people here that understand what's going on in each area. Could be a great assistant to administrator, you know.
Yeah.
So, but we do need the leader who looks forward, looks for future funding, looks at, you know, forward for business ads, however, and kind of then also looks at other counties. We got caught by solar by sudden, where an administrator might have been ahead of the game saying, hey, these guys are getting solar, they're putting new rules in or something. Maybe we want to look at this before the solar guy's standing at the table. And that's what I'm hoping an administrator can do, is be ahead of this committee. We still take care of our business here.
We're all part-timers is the
Yeah,
problem.
we're all part-timers.
Here we
so
had somebody now full-time to do,
to see the future.
pick up our
not-
slack, so to
Right.
speak, guys. and girls. Okay. Greg Saunders, did you have a comment early on?
Yeah, I was wondering, for one thing, I don't think it's streamlining it by running it through Wendy, you know, for the smaller amounts, when you're still gonna have to do the larger amounts anyway. So I don't see how the streamline effect's gonna work. Secondly, if you have like a paid vacation, which I have several of once in a while, because we don't get the bills till after a committee meeting. Does the paid vacations then go through Wendy if it's under 2,500, or I mean, any of them, because I'm gonna have some that's gonna be over 2,500. Okay, who do I give that to? Do I give that to Wendy? Do I turn it into the chairman? It's a lot of confusion.
Probably gonna, well, I'm trying to work with the county chairman in Ogle County. They, according to John Finfrock is the chairman up there. And he had mentioned to me, who had gotten the information from Sickich, that the state has a state law that doesn't penalize people for 60 days, is it, Charlie? Yeah, but in getting that ordinance and getting it to Bob and getting it to Charlie, they interpret it as only being a state ordinance, not applying to counties. So I need to go back to the chairman, who probably talk me to the treasurer, who will talk to maybe the state's attorney up there and see how they get that to apply. But they apply it to their payments, and that shortens up their paid and vacation list. Because the reason we have the paid and vacation list is to save interest and penalties. And it's my understanding in Ed Services this morning that Chris said costs us about $150,000 a year because we don't pay claims on time, so to speak. So trying to cut that down. And it's, as they say, there's a lot to be done on it yet. Hopefully I'll get it. Finfrock's got all his committee meetings today, so I didn't bother calling. So, Charlie, you got a comment on this?
Not really. I mean, there's a lot of different factors to be considered. There's the checks and balances you guys are looking at and talking about when it comes to the review of claims. One of the things that I had suggested before was, if it was going to be a process where the administrator was going to go through and review all of the claims and sign off on the ones that are going to be under the $2,500, that at the very least, we have at the beginning of the committee meeting to which those claims would be for, you would have the committee members going through and signing off that they've reviewed the claims. Not necessarily you're going through claim by claim and just stating them on the record. It's just, I've looked through them. Yes, they are fine. And then you have a sheet for it. I think that, again, is going to be something the auditor would have more to talk about and discuss, but that would make me comfortable. You want to make sure that you're not putting someone, like Wendy or the administrator that may come after her in a position that they're going to be browbeaten by somebody that's coming in saying, no, I need this claim signed off on now. You kind of take it out of their hands as well. But there's a lot of things to consider when it comes to the claims process. One of the things that we talked about when it came to that specific statute in terms of being able to have that window of 60 days afterwards is perhaps they're using it just as saber rattling. They're not actually using it as an enforceable statute. I don't know, but it's something to consider.
Yeah, and I'll find out about that. There's a lot in the air, guys, and we don't have to do it today. I just wanted to make the comments and get it out. There's nothing even on the agenda about it. So, and speaking of that, we better get back to the agenda or we will be running a long meeting here. So, if somebody else has got some comments, I'll go on. So, thanks, Charlotte. Okay. Under old business, it's my understanding, speaking with Paul, speaking with Greg, that our new phone system is working quite well. A couple minor glitches in it, but they're being taken care of. We covered the next two items. As Greg said, the tuck pointing on the courthouse is going according to plan. They were to arrive here today. They're going to get today sometime between every day. They're going to be here between 7:30. Yes. They aren't going to do much work before 7:30, 8 o'clock for fear of
I
disturbing
think
neighbors.
there's a city ordinance.
Yeah.
That says that they can't start anything till after 7:30,
Yeah.
8 o'clock in the morning. So
Like any other job, if they aren't making a lot of noise, there's always prep work you can get done and things like that. So I've been a contractor most of my life and you just try to keep things as quiet as you can. Best is being taken care of. There were a couple phones that came out of IT that were loaned to Best that I understand are in the process of being hooked up because they didn't have any money in their budget to do that work, but we're going to make a work out with it. The memos are the memorandum of understanding with these three entities are just not going to be done. They're going, bills will be paid out of IT and then there'll be a reimbursement back. But budget time comes and the money will be put in the budget of IT to pay these phone bills versus each individual department.
What did you say about Best?
Best is being taken care of. Joanne Johnson, who is the regional office for Best, indicated that they didn't have any money in their budget to make that transaction back there. And Paul said he had a couple phones that they can use until they have money, and then they'll just reimburse them back.
Okay, so they'd be reimbursed. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I missed that.
Oh, that's okay. After consideration, Greg and I walked through under this disposal of old courthouse furniture. There's really nothing there to sell off. Bring us nickels and dimes, and it probably just isn't worth the hassle by the time we move it around and show everybody the pictures and all that, that most of it just really, and Greg and I walked through the old jail and, unless somebody really can make use of some of that stuff, it mainly needs pitched. It's just, its useful life is pretty much gone. So. The industrial appraisal project, fellow that's on site here that did the work is now gone. It's being written up. He was prompted to try to get that out sooner than later so we can work it into our budget process. And I think that's all the old business. Under new business, Dee went through the petitions. And the ordinance, as was said by Greg, the new administrator's office is very nice. You can walk back there, take a look at it after she occupies it. That might not be the thing we can do.
Who's
But
she?
She? Who's she?
It's a secret, very big
I'm
secret.
sorry. There again, protocol, everybody knows Wendy's going to be our administrator. So, and then the last thing on the agenda I have here, and Becky can probably shed a little more light on it than I can. But we do have a policy for renting out this room for lawyers. And I believe they use the third floor meeting room too, don't they, Becky?
They
Or is
use the
it-
courtroom, the committee room and then they'll use the treasurer's room downstairs.
Okay. And
We have some.
go ahead, Becky. Do you want to, I have the notes we talked about.
So we got a call from a group and they wanted to use the committee room every Wednesday, I believe the first Wednesday of every month for a meeting. So they wanted to know what the cost was. They just wanted to take it for like 2 hours over the lunch hour. So we do charge $100 a day. So it was suggested that maybe we break it up into increments.
Marv?
You say $100 a day, does that mean from 8 to 4:30?
It's just if you send in your reservation for the room, it's $100 a day, whether it's an hour or all day long. So someone recommended we adjust that.
And that would preclude, let's say somebody only needed it during the lunch hour, but they rented it by the day. Does that preclude somebody from wanting it from 8 to 10?
Not exactly sure what you're asking.
Well, if somebody reserved the room for a day
Yep.
and paid their $100,
They got it for the whole day.
they got it for the whole day. So we can't rent it to anybody else for that whole day.
Typically, we don't have
And
that many.
typically, I mean, there's not a high demand here, but it's something that we probably should put in writing.
Yeah.
Well, and I think if we do change the amount, there'll be more people up here. Because would you want to pay $100 a day for?
Right,
2 hours?
right. So we need to go to, what, $25 an hour or something like that. That would be essentially $200 a day. But it also would be $50 for 8 to 10 or something like that. So it's
And this is for lawyers and.
lawyers getting dispositions.
Okay.
What was the group for the lunch hour? I mean,
I
can you
don't-
tell? Generality? Oh,
It was your sister, but I don't remember the name of the group.
Just a group of citizens.
it's a public building. I mean, I like to show off our public building. It's a very neat building, and as long as we don't incur a lot of expense cleanup wise, or they don't damage something, I'm all for letting people, the public, use the building. I mean, I think it's just right.
For lawyers as such, I believe that's true, but I mean, we don't want to have a daycare service. in the-
Oh, no. I agree with you there. I mean,
We
there
don't want to
are,
have
we'll
pizza
set some
parties.
parameters. That's why we have a state attorney up
Yeah.
here, is very good.
No birthday parties?
Yeah, no birthday
For
party.
25 an hour, why not?
So I'm interested in what people have to say.
And for people, excuse me, and for people like me, if I gave you $100, I want this room for the whole day,
Yeah,
whether I need it or not.
I agree with you, Marvin. That's what bothered me. So, I
Are we
mean,
gonna put restrictions on it then?
well, Charlie?
You should.
Is it for legal?
First I've heard of this, so.
Is it for legal services
Put you on the
only?
spot,
I mean,
Charlie, you know?
So far, it's just depositions and
Yeah. I
like,
mean,
just depositions is the only thing I can think of.
Well, you can see by the yard, we let people paint the sidewalks, and we do have things on the yard that are,
Yeah,
you know, civic
sure.
minded. And I mean, can we put restrictions on it, Charlie? Does it? I mean,
To a point, I mean, you,
like you said, I don't want to take every center in here either. I guess I never really thought about that aspect of things, but
yeah, I mean, to a point, you can't allow people that are going to be using it for unsavory purposes. Yes.
Yeah,
I mean, there's
right.
different things you can do.
shooting dirty movies in the courtroom, you know?
Oh, yeah, what's your?
Define
Don't want that.
unsavory.
Unsavory.
Well, I was going to
purposes.
use
Yeah.
brothel, but then I moved.
So can
But-
you kind of give us an update next month? I mean, this isn't gonna live or die for a month.
I don't know what kind of update you want from me.
Well, just, does everybody feel that, say, $25 would be appropriate?
I think that sounds fine, but what are other counties?
And I can't tell you that. 'cause
I
there
was,
again,
I was
it's all-
actually just going to offer, maybe I could do a little research and chat with Charlie and get back to you on maybe some examples of what other counties or municipalities, what they do and what restrictions they might have in place, because I'm all about not reinventing the wheel if we don't have to. So let me do a little research and consult with Charlie on some examples and maybe come back to you next month.
Very good. Our soon-to-be administrator, yes.
So at this time, we have a policy of $100 a day. I mean, that's a standing policy of, okay. And we're just altering that policy.
We write,
I
yeah.
think the question was brought up, you know, is it available to the public for different things? And like you say, it does include some wear and tear and stuff, but it is a public building. You know, what do we? it's whatever the group decides.
And there has to be some potential for cleanup. I mean, sometimes.
Right.
A member of a group, we rent out our grist mill over there in Franklin Grove. However, you have to base the rent on what it might cost to sweep the floor down, and you can't lose money on it either.
Right,
That's not
right.
good stewardship.
Yeah, we're not trying to make money, but we're trying to cover our expenses because it is a part of the citizen.
So Wendy will look into that and get back next month and that.
Maybe I could drop it like a draft from some of the examples I find and yeah, we can talk about it in more detail next month.
Yeah, thank you.
I
Appreciate
think
that.
Tom
So
wants to have his birthday party here. I think that's why he asked.
for sure.
He ended up having a birthday.
I said no unsavory things.
yeah. As long as you get a piece of cake, that's all right.
You would love to stand up every year.
Okay, unless there's something else to be brought up, I need a motion to adjourn.
So be.
Okay, got it.
Second.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Very good. Thank you, gentlemen. Went a little long, but we got her out of the way.